to roundtable session on the agenda, the rise of socio-economical learning and cultural competence. For the eminent panel speakers, I would like to call upon Professor Abreesh Charan Vidyarthi, Vice Chancellor, Bikaner Technical University, Rajasthan; Professor Dr. Chattar Singh, Vice Chancellor, Rai Technology University, Bangalore; Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi, Founder, Vice Chancellor, PDM University, Delhi NCR; Dr. Kamal Kishore Sharma, Director General, Takshila Business School, Jaipur; Dr. Bhaskar Patel, Director, Krishna Taheja Group of Institutions, Tirupati; Devashish Sayal, Director, Great Lakes Institute of Management, Gurgaon; Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar, Director, IMS Ghaziabad; Dr. V.K. Banga, Principal Director, Amritsar Group of Colleges; Dr. Vidyanand Jha, Acting Director, Kirloskar Institute of Advanced Management Studies, Pune; Pankaj Jain, Regional Director, India Subcontinent, UTS College, Australia; Manoj Madhavan Kutti, Director, Admissions and Outreach, SRM University, Sonipat; Mr. Dhaval Gaur, Director, Marketing, Operations and Business Development, Parul University, Ahmedabad; Dr. Sharda Sharma, HOD, English Language and Communication, Thadamol Shahani Center for Management, Mumbai; Varun Tamija, I am really sorry, ma'am. Dr. Shraddha Sharma, okay. HOD English Language and Communication, Thadumal Sahani Center for Management, Mumbai; Varun Tamija, Chief Strategy Officer, Times Professional Learning; and Dr. Manju Gupta, Dean Academics, Institute of Management Studies, Noida.
Social, emotional learning and culture competence. So globally, higher education institutions have included social emotional learning as a key part of their syllabus. So how did social emotional learning help in the development of the students? So we will be going to discuss today. Though the internal quality of a student matter, it is mostly the external forces that shape us to become the best version of what we are. If the student is not aware about the social and emotional issues, he may fail to be empathetic. So as an educator, we need to teach them how to be aware about the social and culture issues. So youth can only understand his true calling when he is aware about the inner abilities and voice. So therefore, in present day education system, the need of social, emotional and culture competence is must. We are living in the world of era of technology, where information is in abundant. So what is right and wrong? As an educator, it is our responsibility to teach them. So here we are discussing about this subject. So time is less. We have 1 hour and number of panelists, of course, experts are in big numbers. So I'll divide this time. Every speaker will be allotted 1 minute to give the, just about this theme and subject. I would request to you, sir.
Thank you. We have been talking about digital transformations, digital interventions, etc. But it is very important to protect the kids from going overboard on digital technology, because learning enabler is technology, but learning outcome will not come only from the technology. And if we witness the COVID time, we'll know that it was very difficult to monitor the attention span of the students in the classroom. There will be chances where digital platforms will enhance themselves and a new kind of teaching learning process will evolve out of digital support. But at the same time, it is very important that the kids are also socially responsible, because most of the corporates also are talking about corporate citizenship. When they are talking about corporate citizenship, they are talking about corporate responsibility and basically socially responsible and emotionally balanced. because that is where I will stop and I'll pass it to sir.
Please, sir. Give us the brief introduction about this thing.
Sure, thank you. So, I think important to define what socioeconomic status is first. And essentially it's about three things. One is about educational attainment. Second is about financial independence. I'm quite sure everybody here in the room relates to those two. The third, which is social status, that's the only subjective parameter amongst the three. And that's an important one because today if you look at the new generation, being a YouTuber is about social status to them. It's no longer about being an engineer or a doctor. I'm sure you see that in your campuses and so on. And I think the important part to realize is that as we are changing, and how I relate to it is that if you see the NEP is saying there's going to be no hard and fast. And there's going to be no distinction between art, science, extracurriculars and so on. So I think just how, that's how policy is changing and that's how learning has to evolve. Thanks.
Yeah, this is Manoj here, SRM University. I think the topic is, has arrived at the right moment now when you talk about socio-emotional learning. So SEL is not a new term. However, thanks to the pandemic, I would thank that because it has acted as a catalyst to ensure to inhibit these skill set. Because many times what we fail to teach our students is that unfortunately many institutions in the country are trying to become a graduate generating institutions. We should rather become, sort of change that perspective to be more of a quality human generating institutions, a quality engineer, a quality doctor and
So
so
basically this is the need of the hour, that we have to be culturally and socially responsible.
Exactly.
And we
Sensitizing them is the first part, and making them aware is the second part, and putting that to the practice would be the third part. There's three parts to it. I think we will deliberate further, but last but not least, the most important factor of all these, the epitome of these factors starts with empathy. So you better treat someone else like the way you want to treat you, to be treated by yourself. So it starts with that. I think a lot of people are there, open for deliberations.
Thanks. I think when I saw the topic what Chandan sent, I thought like it's a very tough topic to speak on. But then I realized that this is a changing environment. Students are changing. The COVID has changed a lot of things, as the co-panel said. So we have also to understand what the students want. Obviously, I've been hearing since morning, but all the vice chancellors, senior vice chancellors, all are very senior experience in this industry. For a long time, I'm a very young person. But I feel like we have to change as per our students. Students are adapting to technology very fast, and we have to change. Our curriculum has to change. This online teaching in last 18 months has told us that we have to be adapting to the changes very fast. I was seeing outside technology by Jabra and all. So this is the need of the hour, and I think universities, colleges, as per the new NEP also, has a lot of initiatives in digital divide and all. So we have to shift our paradigm shift. We have to follow what students want. Gone are the days of engineering. I'm myself an engineer, but we have to give focus to sports sciences, design, architecture. Like, let's see what the student wants to do. So we are copying a lot of things from foreign culture, but we're not giving them independence to do things. So I think that has to change.
But the challenge is that every institution have different cultures and clubs, but then how students are serious about those clubs, that is again a big challenge, in every institution.
Hello. Dr. Kamal Kishore Sharma. I present Takshila Business School, Jaipur as Director General, former CEO, former Vice Chancellor, Fellow of IIM Ahmedabad. I reflect on one of the sessions in the morning where this came out very strongly about context and content. And it's very clear now with the kind of explosion of knowledge that content can be found anywhere. It's the context that we have to teach to students. And emotions, empathy, cultural competence are integral, sine qua non, as they say that word goes, most basic essentials of a context. Now, this new normal is working on two planes. One is making this behavioral and emotional competence, downplaying it because they find it easy to teach skills through technology. But on another plane, if I see there is a clear void that is now coming up, it is being talked about by parents, by teachers, by almost everybody who has seen a student around in their house or in their vicinity, that in those last 1.5 years, what they are missing is this integral element of socio-cultural and emotional competence. It cannot be taught through the digital medium. It comes out through interaction, it comes out through discussion, it comes out through role plays, being in that situation, experiential learning. All of that has come out very strongly now, given the current pandemic situation. I hope it has got that central importance now to be focused on.
Very true, very true.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I'm Dr. Debashish Sanyal. I am the director of Great Lake Institute of Management, Gurgaon, former Dean, MDI Gurgaon, former director of SPGN Global Singapore, former vice provost and dean of NMIMS Business School, Mumbai. I will see this issue from another aspect. The aspect is this: the way the students' folk have changed. The new millennium and thereafter, their culture, their socio-economic realization is totally different from what we have been educated for. They sleep at night 3 o'clock, come what may. They're studying or not studying, say Netflix or not. And when they get up, they don't like to be tutored in the way we have tutored them. A young boy wants to study, wants more independent. So the socio-cultural fit is totally different, and we school have to understand. We cannot force them into the class no more at 8:30 in the morning and saying attendance is compulsory. They would like to read on their own more. They may like augmented technology to be used to study on their own. We may say it's not good for them, but they would like to learn in their own space. They want to like whenever they like, and I can see what will happen. We have to understand their social need and the fit of the culture, and we have to produce something which gives them value at the same time, but helps them to learn in their own space. We cannot do it the way we have been doing so far. Augmented technology has to be used meaningfully and realistically to help them. And I can see a synchronized method of teaching coming in a big way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
मैं प्रोफेसर अम्बरीश विद्यार्थी, कुलपति बीकानेर टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी। सुबह से सबसे पहले तो आप सबको नमस्कार। सुबह से मैं देख रहा था और बहुत अच्छा, थिंक दैट द लैंग्वेज शुड नॉट बी बार, क्योंकि मुझे अच्छा लगता है जब मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ। सुबह से बहुत अच्छे सेशन हुए, बहुत अच्छे लोगों ने बात की, अपनी अपनी बात की, और इंडस्ट्री को और टेक्नोलॉजी को लिंक किया गया। किसी ने छात्रों को प्रोडक्ट बताया, किसी ने कंज्यूमर बताया। अगर हम थोड़ा सा पीछे चले जाएं, आज इसमें सेशन में एक बात हो रही थी द्रोणाचार्य जी की, और अर्जुन की बात हो रही थी, गीता की बात हो रही थी, और काफ़ी चीज़ों की बात हो रही थी। अगर हम थोड़ा सा और पीछे चले जाएं तो वशिष्ठ की बात होनी चाहिए, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम की बात होनी चाहिए, केवट की भी बात होनी चाहिए। अगर हम जो कि ये मतलब इमोशनल कॉम्पिटेंसी की बात हो रही है, तो उस गुरुकुल में बच्चा जो छात्र जाता था, चाहे वो किसी भी परिवेश में रहा हो, उस परिवेश में और जिस भी मनः स्थिति में रहा हो, गुरु उसको उस लेवल तक उठाकर लाता था जहाँ वो उसका गंतव्य होता था। भगवान राम को उन्होंने एक मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम बनाया, और वहीं केवट को उसकी योग्यता अनुसार एक सरदार के रूप में एक सफल व्यक्ति बनाया। आज हम जब जो बात कर रहे हैं कि हम छात्र ये नहीं कर रहा है, बच्चा ये नहीं पढ़ रहा है, टीचर पढ़ा नहीं रहा है, स्कूल ठीक से हो नहीं रहे हैं, और इस महामारी में हम बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान रहे और हम वॉरियर भी उन्हें दे रहे हैं, उसका सम्मान दे रहे हैं। बट वास्तव में क्या हम सब शिक्षक इस चीज़ का सम्मान कर पा रहे हैं कि जो छात्र हमारे पास आ रहा है उसकी नीड क्या है, उसके उद्देश्य क्या हैं, उन उद्देश्यों को परिवर्धित करने के लिए हमें कैसा आचरण प्रस्तुत करना होगा, और उस आचरण से वह शिष्य अपने आप उस इकोसिस्टम में रहते हुए वह अपने लिए अपना एक स्थान बना पाएगा, अपनी विधा जो उसे सीखनी है वो सीख लेगा, और उसके साथ साथ वो समाज के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा उपयोगी होगा। लेकिन जब तक हम बाज़ार की बात करेंगे, जब तक हम उसकी जॉब की बात करेंगे, जब तक हम उसके लिए किसी पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट में उपयोगिता की बात करेंगे, तब तक हम उस छात्र को केवल छोटे सेगमेंट में देख रहे हैं। यदि हम उसका पूरा विकास कर दें और उसकी इच्छानुसार कर दें, जो कि एक शिक्षक का परम कर्तव्य है, तो शायद आज इस तरह की समस्या नहीं आएगी। इन विचारों के साथ कि शायद मेरे विचार जो अब तक थे वो अलग हैं, तो यदि मैंने कुछ गलत कहा हो तो मैं
नहीं,
क्षमा चाहूँगा।
आपने बिल्कुल सही
Thank
कहा
you.
सर। टेक्नोलॉजी की दौड़ में इमोशनल, सोशल और कल्चरल रिस्पॉन्सिबल टीचर और शिष्य दोनों को ही होना पड़ेगा, तभी हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
आप सिस्टम बना दीजिए,
सिस्टम, यस,
सिस्टम बना दीजिए तो वो जो है इसकी समस्या ही
पर इस सिस्टम को बनाने के लिए हम एडुकेटर्स को ही आगे आना पड़ेगा सर। या थैंक यू सर।
मैं चतर सिंह, वाइस चांसलर राय टेक्नोलॉजी यूनिवर्सिटी बेंगलोर, मुख्य रूप से एक शिक्षक। अभी विद्यार्थी जी ने जो बात की उनसे मुझे बड़ा सहारा मिला है, हिंदी में बोलने का भी और अपनी बात खुल के कहने का भी, क्योंकि आज की हमारी जो शिक्षा है वो अंग्रेजीदा हो गई है। समझने के लिए चाहे समझ में आए या कितना आए, लेकिन मन से अंग्रेजी का ही प्रयोग होता है। आज का जो विषय है बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। मैं बधाई देना चाहूँगा ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को जिन्होंने ये टॉपिक रखा है, क्योंकि ये टॉपिक आज बिल्कुल अलग है जो सुबह से टॉपिक चल रहा है। आखिर इसकी ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ी? क्या हम अपने कॉरपोरेट ऑफिसेज में ऐसे लोग चाहते हैं जो मालिक की मर्जी के मुताबिक काम करते रहें? उनको कहा जाए कि आप संस्कारी हैं या नहीं हैं, या आपको ऐसा करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, ये शिक्षा उनको दी जाए? क्या ये कॉरपोरेट मार्केटिंग का एक माध्यम है, या वास्तव में हम लोग चाहते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे संस्कारी हों, हमारे बच्चों में सामाजिक रूप से, सांस्कृतिक रूप से वो सोच पैदा हो जो एक अच्छा नागरिक बनने के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है? इसके लिए एजुकेटर से पहले एक और एजुकेटर होता है, माँ, बच्चे की माँ। हम एजुकेटर तक आने से पहले उसको दो कैटेगरी क्रॉस करनी होती है, समझना होता है। माँ सबसे पहली शिक्षक होती है जो समझाएगी कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है, क्या सामाजिक विधाएं हैं, क्या सामाजिक संस्कार हैं, क्या सांस्कृतिक संस्कार हैं जिनको अपनाना चाहिए। एक बहुत बड़े भारतीय संत ने कहा था, संत ही कहूँगा मैं, कि अगर शिक्षा का उद्देश्य कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग नहीं है तो वो शिक्षा नहीं है। सोचना होगा हमें कि क्या हमारी शिक्षा हमारे बच्चों की कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग का काम कर रही है, या उनको रॉबोट बना करके छोड़ रही है मार्केट में, या हम भी उसमें शामिल हैं, माफ़ करना, हम भी उसमें शामिल हैं कि हम अपने बच्चों को रॉबोट बना करके पैदा कर रहे हैं। ये अच्छी बात है कि आज ये विषय आया है। माँ सबसे पहली शिक्षक होती है जो उसमें गुण भरती है, पिता होता है जो उसको फैसिलिटेट करता है, उसके बाद शिक्षक की या एजुकेटर की ज़रूरत पड़ती है कि उस बच्चे में वो गुण भेजे जाएं, समझाए जाएं, जो वो अपनी संस्कृति को समझे, अपने सामाजिक मूल्यों को समझे और उनके अनुसार काम करे। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू। बिल्कुल सर, आपने सही कहा, टेक्नोलॉजी और मूल्यों के बीच में एक रिलेशनशिप डेवलप करना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हम सबके लिए हो गया है।
Myself, Dr. Vijay Kumar Banga. I am principal at Amritsar Group of Colleges, Amritsar. So the topic is very interesting. I am director from last 7 years, but earlier I am teaching as a professor. But currently, last year I have also taken one class, and I share my personal experience. How the social emotional learning affects the students. So when I taught my students, so after a gap of 2-3 years, maybe more than that, so I said to my student कि अगर मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ तो आपको रात को सपने में भी यही सब्जेक्ट दिखाई देगा। जब ये हो जाएगा तब मुझे लगेगा कि मैं पढ़ाता हूँ आपको। और यू अमेज्ड टू शेयर विद ऑल ऑफ यू, वन स्टूडेंट केम एंड थर्ड डे, सर रात को सच में सपने में आया कि आप सपने में भी पढ़ा रहे थे। So here is the emotion learning works. Everybody said that class is not a much good. They are not much able to score. But I am happy to share with you all of that. In my classroom, out of 27 students, 24 got cleared, all pass. So I'm not very good teacher in terms of academic, maybe. But I may be a very good motivator to him. So here is the emotional intelligence works. If your team, if your students are elevated with your, or they attached with your emotions, I think they can do wonders for you. So it's a very important topic. And culture competency, again, as in today social, people are using social media, like in India, 68 crore people are using a digital active in our country. So our students are suffering from loneliness. Everything they get in a sitting on a PC. Everything they get teaching from a professor of IIT on their desktop. Even they don't require parents, even they don't require teacher, even they don't require anything, not friends. So here come the culture competency. If we are not able to make them able to survive in a society, it's useless. We are making product just like any electronic or any other product. It's not a human being. So it's a very important issue. I am happy to the organizer that have taken this topic, and definitely our teacher fraternity definitely look toward in this direction very precisely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I am Professor A.K. Bakshi, presently Vice Chancellor, PDM University. I have been earlier Vice Chancellor of UP Rajrishi Tandon Open University, Allahabad, and also Executive Director of Tertiary Education Commission, Mauritius. I think it's a very good topic because I always feel that the purpose of education is threefold. One is to produce good human beings, secondly, responsible citizen, and third is a competent professional. And one has to work on all the three. Education could be of three types, whether it is the formal education or non-formal education or informal education. Ultimately, the goal would remain the same. But it's very unfortunate that in our country and generally even outside also, the main focus of education seems to be on cognitive learning. Cognitive learning, I mean development of mental skills. No doubt that's very important because the purpose of education is not the learning of the facts, but the training of the mind to think. And that comes in the cognitive domain. But while pursuing cognitive domain, other domains get neglected. You know, three domains are head, heart, and hand. Head is mental, heart is emotional, and hand is physical. So sometimes, and I personally feel there is no formal training for development of social and emotional skills in our students. The result is our students do not have an all-round developed and balanced personality. And in the absence of that, they are not able to perform very well. Because competence ultimately is defined by three things. One is knowledge, one is skills, and the third is your traits, your behavior, your attitude, your ability. And it's very well known that there is an iceberg model for competency. Knowledge and skills are seen by everybody knows. But this attitude, behavior, traits, all these things are unhidden. Nobody can see that. And they, to a great extent, affect the performance of everybody. There is a report that about 70% of people in life fail not because of capability, but because of their personality. And when I talk about personality, it means a balanced personality, where these social and emotional and cultural, all these skills play a very, very important role. So one really needs to find out that whether these skills can be inculcated only at school level. No, it is at the family level also. Parents have a very important role to play. Schools, colleges, universities have a very important role to play. Your company of the friends, what type of company you move, that also has a very important role to play. And of course, the workplace. I think this is a very significant topic, and I am very happy that this topic has been chosen. But no formal training is there in students to develop a balanced personality. That's my matter of worry. Everybody is having some personality. Whether you nurture it or not, everybody will come out with some personality. But whether that is a balanced one or not, that's unfortunately not there. Maybe that's what I would say at this stage, and maybe later on I will talk. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it's like, my name is Dr. Shraddha Sharma. I am the head of language and communication in Thadomal Shahani Center for Management. I am representing Thadomal Shahani Center for Management. So it's like going back to 10 to 1. We know that this one, everybody knows this one. Everybody knows the importance of socio-emotional learning. But all these while, we have been ignoring this. Then COVID happened. Before COVID, we don't find much shining examples of such thing. Then COVID happened, and everybody started realizing that despite having plush houses, gadgets, fancy cars, we need to do something with our students, children. Now what is lacking? The lacking is emotional goal. The lacking is emotion. And so I have jotted down some emotional learning competencies. So I'll quickly go through that, and then we move to. The first is self-awareness. Second is self-management. Third is social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision-making. So these are 5 points in which whole socio-emotional learning competencies lies. So after COVID, SEL became a buzzword, because everybody started talking, no, something is happening, something is wrong happening, something has wrong being done by us. And actually, fine, yes, we have done wrong. As a parent, as a social, as a responsible citizen, as an educator, we had been brought up like that you have to earn money, you have to earn designation but you don't have to earn compassion. How will you become compassion? How will you become socially responsible citizen? By crossing the red light? Okay, the traffic police wala is not there, just cross the light. Now we have started talking about all these things. Okay, so we will talk about it more. Yes, please.
Well said, Shraddha. Because this pandemic has given us enough time to think about it actually. Earlier we were busy in our own traditional schedule. So, excess of everything is bad. So technology has, we were engrossed in so much into technology that institutions have realized that there is this emotional changes in the behavior of the students. So that is why we are discussing this topic today, because there is a very, very big difference between the emotion and psychological aspect of the student. And not only student, of course, we can see in our, the behavior changes in our husbands also, even in wives also. There are so many changes in human behavior because of this situation. So definitely we are discussing this aspect.
Okay, thank you very much for enlightening, ma'am. My name is Dhaval Gaur. I'm from Paru University. I would like to pick it up from what ma'am said. We all are present here. I think many of you might have visited physical summits or something, but I have just come out of my home after 16 months. And yeah, so everyone are excited. The reason most of you must have traveled to this because this is a physical summit. So for the same reasons, if we just try to understand what would be happening with our kids, with our children, with the students present at the university. They were earlier already addicted with social media, especially Instagram, which is very much popular. So in today's, in our days, at least in my days, we had real friends. We did not have virtual friends. Nowadays, students, they judge themselves, they judge their achievements by the number of likes, by the number of comments on Instagrams, how their photos, how their videos are being appreciated. So we are, this digital empowerment has led to a very complex psychological issues because students, they have lost resistance. Today, if I go and scold an 18-year or 20-year student, the extreme step they would go for is suicide, which is very much real. So they have lost the tolerance level. The tolerance level in the young generations is not the same what we had in our days. In our days, if a teacher or a professor, they used to just scold us or maybe they can beat us as well. We would take it very normal. Okay, it's the teacher, the guru who have slapped us, that's fine. But today you do the same thing, they will show you that, it is not possible, you cannot hit me. So in the process of self-awareness, the self-management has got disturbed. If you just think about the situation, the students who are already addicted to social media now subjected to virtual classrooms. So the kinesthetics learning, the physical learning, the character building, it is not going to happen virtually. So what I mean, this hybrid model, what we are talking about, is the best model, but eventually we have to resume to the traditional ways. The reason, because we are the educators who have come from the traditional methods. Whatever we have achieved today, it's because of the physical learnings we have done. So I feel that we should stick to the same model.
Well said. Traditional have their own importance.
Yes.
Right? So there is no size fits all solution for creating culturally relevant SCL instructions. But there are few simple ways educator can make their SCL teaching more inclusive and effective for diverse student population. So these words, we quickly wrap up this first round, and I would request my own panelists, because this clock is reminding us about the time, so we have left with 30 minutes. So I'll quickly take a few questions with all the panelist members. So I would request them to give at least their opinion in just 1 or 1.5 minute maximum. Thank you. So I would ask Mr. Professor Ambrish that can a specific framework to be built to impart socio-emotional learning in Indian higher education institution? As sir has said just now, that we do not have any framework. So do you really think that we can develop any of the framework for this social emotional learning in the institutions?
Definitely. Bikaner Technical University is I think the premier in the country, where we have again restarted training of the teachers as well as the students by making number of FTP programs. And I'm happy to say this, that now we have trained 70,000 of the faculties and the students and try to build up the human value systems and we have analyzed closely that what we are expecting and what we are. So definitely the times to come, we will come out with those kind of the things. But I'm just surprised to note that now the people are saying that our students or graduates are not employable, they don't have the skill set and other things. See, once we have started mechanizing, is saying that recognizing the education as an industry, means the physical products, and now we are complaining that we don't have those, the value systems. So we have to change the minds. We have to, it is a responsibility of the universities, teachers at large, that we have to work not what we wanted to, और हम क्या चाहते हैं, हम क्या डिज़ाइन करेंगे, कैसे देंगे. हमें ये चाहिए कि बच्चे के अंदर जो है क्या आग है, उस आग को कैसे बेहतर तरीके से कल्टीवेट किया जा सकता है, उस डायरेक्शन में. So definitely we are coming out with this kind of things, and hopefully we can provide some of the solution and recommendation.
Yes. University has already given value and ethical system as a subject in every courses, I think.
Yes,
but then
now
every
yes.
institution take it as a subject. So, but then I think lot of practical aspects are there which we need to be taken care of.
We are developing that. Our first step was that the AICT has, make the mandatory to programs human value systems in first year of this. Now we are working on this, that how they can analyze themselves, that after going through this particular subjects, what kind of changes has been there.
Self-analyzation is very important.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I would request Professor Chatur Singh that how can student analyze a variety of text and historic data or incident to understand their current lifestyle? Because students are not aware about their current lifestyle. Question is, how can student analyze a variety of text and data to understand their current lifestyle? अभी आज के बच्चों का जो लाइफस्टाइल है वो यही है कि उनको सुबह टैब के सामने बैठना है और शाम को टैब के सामने से ही हट जाना है, ठीक है. बट देन हाउ वी शुड एनालाइज दैट व्हाट इज दिस करंट लाइफस्टाइल एंड वेयर दिस लाइफस्टाइल इज गोइंग टुवर्ड्स.
It is not students who have their lifestyle like this, tab or social media or digital media. What they see in the family, their fathers, their mothers are doing, they will follow that. If parents are rising early in the morning, doing their house chore, whatever it is, going to puja ghar, or doing something positively, their children will have that impact. That's why I am of this considered opinion that mother is the first school, first teacher. You cannot teach a student in school or in a college or in a university by this digital learning. Because by that time, the habit of a student is pakka. It is very difficult to mold the tendency of a person who is mature one. From childhood up to adulthood, he is learning this digital or so many things through digital. It is not all good. Sometimes it is bad also. We're talking of Netflix and Amazon showing so many things. And children are supposed to go that way. Instead of having these stories of Mahabharata or something like that, which are more of teaching, spiritual teaching, if not religious teaching, if not social teaching, cultural teaching. So I'm of this opinion that children will use only this platform when they see the around persons in family and in school, their schoolmates or something like that. So first thing is that we should control the students at that level, and we should, as Vidyarthi sir said, we should harness their power into that.
So good teaching starts at home basically. Yeah? So I would request Dr. Kamal Kishore Sharma that which social emotional skill predict student cognitive, educational and social outcome as well as their general well-being. which social emotional skill predict student cognitive, educational and social outcome as well as their general well-being.
Okay, so if I've understood the question correctly, first I would like to reflect on that the education of a child is not a prescriptive process, as in to tell the student this is right behavior, this is wrong behavior is not enough. The process is important. For example, if it is about a college or an institution, whether you practice discipline, whether you practice a non-approval of any kind of copy-pasting incident, whether you encourage students, so there are incentive systems on everyday basis that whatever you speak, you are given marks on that. So these small things that exist in an organization on everyday basis is what is the result at the end of 1, 2 or 3 years. What we talk about an entire childhood at home from mother and father. From the school and the college, what is expected is skill plus these behavioral things that come through a process. Now, I have still not been able to get the question correctly. To me,
excuse me, I would like to interrupt here.
Yes.
So actually the question is wrong. You cannot say which social emotional learning skill.
No,
So
cognitive
it's
skills.
beyond.
Social, emotional, cognitive skill I am talking about.
Yes,
that how we
so-
can predict the
so
behavior.
It includes so many things.
So
It
if you are
includes- yes, it includes meaningful relationship, setting up positive goals, managing emotions.
So in a way,
understanding
we can come to this conclusion that one size cannot fit for all. I mean, that's purely based on the situation.
Let me take a call on this.
please
To
take
me,
it.
first thing is respect. Now, respect starts with people at home, and respect does not only mean respect to the elderly. Respect to a child, what the child deserves, in terms of how do you call them, how do you treat them, how do you speak to them. Respect is number one. Two is the right communication, relevant communication. So if you are in the moment, you will be able to understand what is being talked about, what is the tone of communication, what is the expected behavior at the time what you speak, what is the expected response accordingly you speak. So that's the respect, communication. Third is responsibility. Are you taking responsibility of yourself as a student? Are you taking responsibility of you as a brother, elder brother or an elder sister to the younger ones, or as a son and a daughter, or a son-in-law or a daughter-in-law to your in-laws? Taking responsibility. To me, respect, responsibility and the right communication, these are the things that define basically, it engulfs everything about socio and emotional competence.
Sir, I would like to add to this. So,
Please.
this is one thing, what I do with my students and with my daughter. I am animal lover, ardent animal lover. When it comes to animals, for me, humans are nothing, animals. What I do, I always share with my students that what I do, I get up early in the morning, I have 42 dogs to feed, community dogs, and I go and feed the dogs. And I always ask them, what do you do? Did you see any dog, cat, or any hungry animal, donkey, horse? What do you do? And the answer is simply, no, we just ignore. Or they don't see, because now they are so gadget maniac, they don't see, they don't observe anything. So with this, when I always tell them that, do you have a dog? Do you like animal? Okay, if they say I'm scared of dogs, so I would tell them that that means you are scared of nature. How are you going to be a survivor of the nature if you are scared of dog, cat?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Well said.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Bhaskar, I would request you, how do the educator and the student perceive the importance of learning, social and emotional competence, and how they relate it to success? Dr. Bhaskar, yeah. Dr. Bhaskar Patel. No, he is not here? Okay. So they have given me the name, Dr. Bhaskar Patel.
You should ask the Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Devashish?
Yes.
So you can quickly tell us about how do the educator and the student perceive the importance of learning social and emotional competencies?
Thank you. There are multiple ways actually, to be honest. The first thing you have to understand, the three elements in this discussion. One is social, one is emotional, and one is culture. The culture, and all are not rigid concept. All are very fungible concept, a fungible philosophy, I'll put it. Culture, the culture is changing over a period of time. We cannot go and say that what had happened in Ramayan's time will be happening now, and it should happen. We may say should, it will not happen. Practically it will not happen. But whether not good practice was very good practice. So how to impart those practices in today's form is very important. So culture is a very important fit. If you add with culture is socio-environment. Now what type of socio-environment we have got? The environment has changed. Today's bacha, we cannot send them bad. They are very good technologically. We are not that good, but they are good. And let us appreciate them, that they are good in technology. They take up, any kid, 3 years, 4 years kid take up technology faster than us. So we appreciate that also. And these two impact has a positive impact on emotion and negative impact. We are trying to see only negative impact. There are very positive impact on the emotion also. They do miraculous things. So many, in this total COVID period, how many unicorn has taken place? How many people are taking more risk? The positive impact is also there. We are trying to take ourselves and only talk about negative emotions. No, there are some very positive impact on emotions also during this period. And that's remarkable. Students have appreciated online teaching and they find more time to learn. Good students, bad students are there. They're getting more time to learn something else also. So how to use the environment, technology, we cannot escape technology. I can tell you, you can like it or don't like it. Technology will be used and will be used more. And I can tell you the things which are happening in this space, in experimentation which is going in this space is mind-boggling experimentation. And the way it is going, augmented, what they talk is just what they touch a little bit of it. And so these emotions, and so as an educationist, I'll see how to use technology to impart good values in them, how to nurture the positive energy, positive emotion, and work on them so the negativity goes down. I only ask them to do. When they get up in the morning, if you ask one-liner from me, I'll ask, then all my students I'll ask, hey, when you get up in the morning, ask what's the purpose of your life. Today you woke up, what you're going to do today. Do you add anything to your system? If you help one person, that's also a purpose. If you don't have purpose in life, you have no means to the end, then you will never be happy. You have to live till last day. I am a person who has died already once. I'm coming, I'm a comorbid patient who I was dead when kidney transplant was going on. But I give my example of me, not because I've done anything great, but till the time you do something for others. Purpose, what is it? Why you are living today? Just to have a lunch or a dinner? No, you have a bigger purpose in life. If you ask me one-liner, every people, human being, not only students, human being has to address this question, why I am living. Why I am living. Let's address it, why I am living. There has to be purpose for yourself and for the society. And if these two meets, you'll be happy. That's what.
Very
Happiness
well said.
is something, I'll just end with one. Last word. It was a great English poet. He was who wrote the song, Imagine All the People Living Life Together. And he was given an assignment very small. Sorry for taking more time. He was asked, what you want to be in life? And he wrote in the assignment, I want to be happy. The teacher told him that you didn't know, you didn't understand the assignment. And what he said, you didn't understand life. Life is to be happy.
Right.
And for happiness, you have to have a purpose and means. And I would like to teach my students day in and day out. If you think cheating and getting past is happiness, then go for it, boss. It will never give you happiness.
Well
Be
said.
honest.
Well said. So nurturing the positive energy and work on the negative energy. This is the job of an educator.
Absolutely.
So I would request Dr. V.K. Banga to tell us about how we can identify that the organization or an institution is culturally competent.
Yes, like already AICT has taken initiative like universal human values subject is introduced.
Yes.
We aggressively working over that. And we are also like taking care of when new student comes to our college, 3-week orientation program as prescribed by AICT. So it's a 3-week in which students get totally transformed. We are not teaching them regular curriculum. We are teaching like working on their hobbies, on nationalism and sports. What are the hidden talent they have? They all come out in these 3 weeks, and we totally transform the student in that way. And through universal human value subject, it's like making a direct contact with the student. Like they have to understand what is a life, what is the happiness, all the words which we are talking about. We just try to like make student aware about that and try to find out exact purpose of their life. So through that we make a differently deal with our students. I already said we take both technological also, that we have to go with it. It's not an era that we cannot able to survive without a mobile or even a digital world. Definitely we will go with it. But we have to use it properly. We have to make them aware that you have to be a time for society, you have to be a time for your parents, for your friends. That is also must for your soul, and technology for your academic growth. We have to make a balance between these two.
So proper balancing between personal
That is
and work profile is very, very important.
Yes.
So I would request Dr. Vidyanand Jha that how higher education institution see social emotional learning through the lens of culturally sustainable pedagogies.
Actually, the question has a lot of keywords in that, so I'll try to simplify it. Basically, what happens in the higher education is we get a lot of product which comes from secondary education and primary education, and those people come and join higher education institute. So we rarely get a lot of time in developing them economic, social, responsible citizen or culturally responsible citizen. What we do is that we try to give them some idea about how they can behave in corporates when they go, and then we take them through a lot of simulation activities. But when we go deep in that, basically the higher education institute now has to incorporate a pedagogical approach in their course curriculum, which is basically about self-discovery. So if the institute can take the learner through the self-discovery, and during that journey use technology wherever possible, but spend more time in mentoring and coaching, then we will be able to provide right kind of inputs to those who are coming to our institute in order to make them corporate citizen, socially responsible citizen. Because most of the corporates, when you talk to them and you ask them why do you hire the student of management graduate or any other higher education, they would say that we don't hire skills, we hire attitude. And what do they mean by that? In coming time, what I perceive is all those work which is done by labor, which are done by process, which are done by technology, it will be automated. What will not be automated is how I think, how do I respond, how do I take care of my surrounding, how do I perceive myself in my community, and how do I perceive others in my community. And that is where the crux of higher education institute will come, and that is where the role of mentors will come.
So the role of mentor is very, very important, while taking this social and emotional learning. So I would request Dr. Shraddha to tell us quickly about what are the challenges in National Education Policy 2020, specifically in this domain. So NEP 200. So what is the major challenge in this particular area? You see that.
I personally don't know about this national education something, but I would like to share the challenges.
There is a challenge, yes. So a lot of things has already been added into this policy about the social emotional learning. But what are the challenges while implementing these?
So I don't know about any policy and all. The biggest challenge is our young adults.
Young?
Young adults' minds are highly influenced with our news channels and social media. which always promote selfishness, pettiness, apathy, violence, blame shifter, and other lethal thought. So that's the biggest challenge. Then, if you would, I just tell you, there are two latest survey by top survey companies happened in India. Like Sense is a company, survey company, Toluna. It shows that family time did not improve during the lockdown period, but the time spent on mobile went up from 2 to 3 to 12 to 14 hours.
But there are research also that family time has been reduced, increased drastically during this lockdown.
No. Let me complete. Let me finish. That means less timing, less parenting, and young adult and college students face timing increase 3 to 5 hours to 12 to 16 hours. That's the survey. Now you don't need to fertile your imagination what they were doing on laptop, tabs, and this. The second major challenge is, now I'm coming back to this online, because it starts after we have been thinking about social SEL thing after COVID era. So lack of training of our academicians. So I personally trained 18 teachers, and I have met 100 such teachers across the domain, and they don't have any clue about basic online teaching. What they do, what they believe that sharing the whiteboard, presentation is the online teaching. When you have a 30 students on, I'm talking about Zoom screen, when you have 30 students, are you talking to each student in 2 hours? So for them, it's to finish the syllabus, finish the session. That's it. And then we have this another major issue. SEL skills develop much faster, better if we start earlier. So as
sir has already said that learning start from the home. Your mother is the biggest teacher.
Yes, it should start from home.
Thank you, Shraddha. I will request to you, sir, please tell us that we are talking about artificial intelligence. Yeah, we are talking about artificial intelligence, right? So how this artificial intelligence impact building up social and emotional learning? So do you really think that AI can build up the social emotional learning among the students?
Yeah, so that's
we are talking about chat box, we are doing about Alexa, Siri, right? So this is the world we are living in. So how do you feel that this AI can impact social emotional learning?
Yeah, I think the important point is, and the co-panelists mentioned this earlier, right, that some of the mundane or repetitive human labor oriented things will go away. Same in learning, right? And earlier there was a point made that I think the best learning that any of us can give to any learner is for them to become self-directed, self-aware, because that's what is soon going to happen in the workplace, right? The minute they go away from higher education. Similarly, I think AI is going to have a very big role in looking at data and telling people that...
Sir, please tell us about how this higher education system help the students in emotional learning, though all the panelists have talked about it a lot. But then I just wanted to kick in one sentence. Can you wrap up?
I would like to share, or rather narrate, one of the experience that happened in my institution. A couple of years ago, I used to teach, not teaching anymore. I do miss that. So what happens in those days, if you see, learning was, rather unidirectional. In the early 19th century, it was unidirectional. You ought to listen and you dare not speak back. And probably in these days, or a little before, it was bidirectional. You are asked to, ask questions and have your doubts clarified. But what, spending about good 7-8 years outside India, what I felt is missing, or probably what I attempted doing is peer learning. Now, this peer learning is rather most abused word sometimes. They just say, put peer learning everywhere in the brochure, say that our university has peer learning. What is true peer learning, I'll tell you. So what happened once, I had a class for marketing, and I divided the entire folks into 2 sections. So one section was about to speak for a point, and the other section was supposed to speak against it. So what I did to add some drama, when they just came to the class, I just said, you just need to exactly speak opposite. So now what happened, and what I did, I just asked the student to evaluate the other segment. Now, one is they came with a perspective and they were narrow minded, right? They came that, okay, today I'm going to smash my topic like anything. And then it completely toppled over, and now you're not just want to speak out what you have not been taught.
Yeah.
That is
So
challenge.
positive perception is very important to look, forward.
Exactly. So one way of evoking that social, so this is one stress test, right? And at the same time, you're also asked to judge another one. Now when the first person is judging, let's say I'm judging you,
Yeah.
I know that karma will come around.
True.
So this is how you evoke the aspect of social, emotional binding in classroom. Because see, that's why I started my my session saying that the institutions are more towards a graduate generating institution. Now what happens in a class, you might have 3 toppers or 3 failures and everyone in between. Now in an industry, the finished product graduating from a 3-year or a 4-year or a 5-year degree, when they go to an organization, do you think the organization will succeed only having those top 3? Never.
No, definitely not.
So it's a cumulative effort, it's an amalgamation of every individual efforts. Rather, that's what Indian education, I'm not, without offense to anyone, it is changing. The change is gradual, but let us embrace it completely and implement that. That
So
is how we evoke the social, emotional binding among students through sheer peer learning.
So thank you all the panelists. We have left with 1 minute only. So I would quickly take one word out of this panelist about this subject. Can you start, sir, please?
Yes, my name is Dhaval.
Just elaborate this in one word, I can say.
One word. See, today we are asking questions to Alexa.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I feel that tomorrow the day is not away where exams will be conducted by Alexa.
Right.
Teachers won't be required and Alexa will be teaching it. So,
So, but I feel that
as
the
an
traditional
educators,
approach
we
will
have to
always be
restrict the technological approach up to a certain extent. Because what I see that after 50 years, like we are subscribing Netflix right now, we'll have to subscribe real friends or real people to talk if this continues. So this is one of the negative sides of AI, what I'm perceiving and anticipating.
So physical presence, physical, interaction is
Today
very, very important.
we can see each other's
yes.
expressions,
Yeah.
we can see the expressions, we feel presence of each other. But tomorrow it's not
So
going
that
to be
is why
there.
Mr. Chandan has organized this physical meet
Yeah,
for
so
us
thanks
people
to
so that we can
Adorcom.
interact and we can discuss about this subject. So thank you to all the members who have given a lot of insightful discussion about this subject. Thank you so much.
So unlearn what we have learnt wrong. Like this I would like to conclude.
Thank you.
Unlearn what we have learnt wrong.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. I would like to provide the memento of appreciation from Dr. Manju Gupta to all the other panels. First, we have Professor Ambrish Sharan Vidyarthi. Ma'am, they are not named. Yes. I would request Professor Dr. A.K. Bakshi to kindly give token of appreciation to Dr. Manju Gupta, please. I would like to thank all our eminent speakers for this wonderful roundtable session.